Okay, when you're finding the exact value of each trigonometric function, that should be a big red announcement that says, hey, use the unit circle information. Wow, your teacher can't spell today. Use the unit circle information. So what you're going to do is you're going to, well, one good technique would be to draw a coordinate plane and then look at, you have to find negative 16 pi thirds. Well, you know you're going to be going in the negative direction. So remember, negative 2 pi is the same as negative 6 pi thirds. Well, we're not even close to that. So if you double that, it's negative 12 pi thirds. Remember, if negative 2 pi is negative 6 pi thirds, negative pi is negative 3 pi thirds. Well, negative 3 plus negative 12 is negative 15. So if we were going in the negative direction, we'd go around once, negative 6 pi. Around twice, that would be negative 12 pi. Halfway around, we'd be at negative 15. Well, we have to go one more negative pi thirds, and right there, we're at negative 16 pi thirds. Well, if you look at your unit circle, that's 2 pi thirds. And the coordinate points for 2 pi thirds, let me make sure I get this right, is negative 1/2, positive root 3 over 2. So positive root 3 over 2, and you have to find cotangent. Well, cotangent is adjacent over opposite. So let me go ahead and kind of do this. So cotangent of negative 16 pi thirds is adjacent over opposite, because tangent is opposite over adjacent, they're inverses. Well, let's look at where our theta are. Our theta is here. Well, this side, the x value in coordinate points will always be the adjacent side. The y values will always be the opposite side. And remember that coordinate point, I covered it, but was negative 1/2 root 3 over 2. The x is adjacent, the y is opposite. So we can put the adjacent, negative 1/2, over the opposite, root 3 over 2. And then you have to take a moment and you have to simplify this. Well, fraction over fraction, we eliminate the lower fraction by multiplying by its reciprocal. So we're going to multiply this by 2 over root 3. Whatever you do to the denominator, you've got to do to the numerator. And look at, the denominator now cancels. So now we have negative 1/2 times positive root 3 over 2. Well, look at diagonally. In multiplication, the 2's can cancel. So now what you have is negative 1 over root 3. And you guys learned the first day of class this year, we can't have radicals in the denominator, so we're going to multiply top and bottom by root 3. Negative 1 times root 3 is negative root 3. Root 3 times root 3 is root 9. The square root of 9 is 3. So cotangent of negative 16 thirds is negative root 3 over 3. And we did all of that I need to make that bigger. We did all that simply by locating negative 6 pi, negative 12 pi, negative 15. We located where negative 16 pi thirds. We looked at the unit circle, the unit circle, that's 2 pi thirds. I know you can't read that very well. And at 2 pi thirds, we had the coordinate points -1/2, coordinate point, root 3 over 2, adjacent, opposite, and we threw it into the cotangent trig function. You're going to do the same with all of these. You draw the graph. So let me do this. I can delete all of this now. -14 pi thirds. So again, -12 pi thirds. This was -15 pi thirds. So we have to stop short. -12 to all the way over here is -15. So right there is -14 pi thirds. Well, in this quadrant, the pi thirds, which by the way is 4 pi thirds, if you look at the unit circle, down here, -1/2, -root 3 over 2. And we're now finding cosecant. Remember, the hypotenuse is 1. So cosecant of any theta is hypotenuse over opposite. Well, the hypotenuse on the unit circle is 1, and the opposite, this down here, is -root 3 over 2, and then you're going to simplify. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to multiply top and bottom by -2 over root 3. That cancels. Well, 1 times that is just -2 over root 3. So then you're going to multiply top and bottom by root 3, and you'll end up with cosecant of -14 pi thirds. -2 times root 3 is -2 root 3. Root 3 times root 3 is root 9. The square root of 9 is 3. All right, that's it for this one. When you're finding the exact value of a trigonometric function.